This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Thank you all for coming this afternoon, 2 days prior to Thanksgiving. So we'll just go around the group here real quick and introduce ourselves. My name is Kim, relapsing remitting, diagnosed 2012, currently on Ocrevus. And then I'll kick it over to Andrea and let me know if you need time.
Hi, my name is Andrea. I live in North Carolina. I have MS. I'm on Ocrevus. I was diagnosed in 2012, and I'm not sure.
Okay, that's no problem.
Maybe.
All right. Let's pick it over to Mike Pettypool. Hi, introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Kim and Andrea. I'm Mike. I'm living in Colombia for the last 2 months. I have relapsing, I had relapsing remitting. It's now secondary progressive since 1997. I'm feeling fine. No drugs, and Rick will be glad to know I've put on 20 pounds.
Wow, good job for you. I knew that. I know you lost a bunch. I'm glad to hear you got a bunch of pounds. So are you just eating out all the time or what?
Yeah. Eating more.
Okay. And then you said earlier you didn't need time tonight. So we're going to kick it over to Louise. Let's go up to Canada. Hi, Louise.
Hi, I'm Louise, and I'm from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia in Canada. And I was diagnosed with relapsing remittance in 91, and I'm presently taking baclofen.
And then you said you're not sure about time today, so that's
Well,
fine.
it depends on, I'm not in sort of a hurry, so it depends on other people. I'd like to sort of give up time to others, so yeah, we'll see.
Thank you. And then going south of the border to Michigan, John, introduce yourself from Canada.
Hi, I'm John. I'm from Michigan, so that makes me an honorary Canadian in some aspects. But I was diagnosed with relapsing remitting in 2016, and I'm on Zeposia. And yes, I need some time because I have a puzzle about disability to talk about. So, whoever's next.
The next, we're going to another Michiganite who's been away for a while, is coming back. Welcome back, Marlo. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Marlo from Michigan, onset 97, diagnosed in 22. I'm on Tecfidera, and I don't need time.
Okay, thank you. Good to see you. And then Christy, I don't know if she's in Colorado or has moved to Arizona, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am in Arizona, and it's hot. It's like middle of winter, and it's hot. So I moved out. Actually, I took my one-way ticket on Sunday evening, arriving early Monday morning. And when I say early, it was like 12:38 a.m. But yeah, just here in Arizona, waiting for the hubby to get here. He's driving the moving truck out along with like towing our car at the back of the moving truck. So he's taking his time.
Good.
And which town are you nearby in Arizona?
I'm in Phoenix.
Thanks. Okay. I didn't know which one you were. Okay. Great. And then did you need time today, Christy?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't know.
Common answer today.
Yes,
Right?
common answer today. So, okay, welcome here. And then last but not least, Jennifer's in the house. We're going back to Michigan. You guys are ruling the roost today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I haven't been here in a while and I apologize for being late, but it's good to see you all.
It's good to see you too.
Thank you.
Did you need time today, Jennifer?
No, thank you. I'm sorry again. Kim, I was late, but no, I think I'm good right now.
Okay, great. Well, we'll have John start off because he was the one that was affirmative on the needing time today. So we'll just get him out of the way, and then we'll see where this thing goes. So lead us off, John.
I'm actually very glad that Jennifer is here because she has a lot of knowledge on disability and getting the money or the coverage or whatever. So, 2 Tuesdays ago, I had my in front of a judge appointment. I remember that I talked about that night at AnCan, but I just wanted to put this out to the crowd. I think Rick may have some insight as well. For those of you that don't know, for my trial, I was at home with Melissa, and we met with the judge advocate, and there were two other people there, a doctor, and then hey, let's find you a job person. So two really important things. And the doctor was really, really great at explaining things, saying things like, if you see in 13F, that connects to 15B, where it shows that John has degenerated with like not being able to walk using a wheelchair. So he showed the progression of it, all that sort of things. At the very beginning, I did ask the judge, like, how familiar are you with MS? And she said, I'm quite familiar with it. I've seen a lot of people come in with this. So I felt positive with that and then the judge. The thing that kind of freaked me out or was weird at first or puzzling was that she dismissed the vocational let's find you a job person. Like I don't need your testimony today. So there you go. Just send them out. And then I talked to the judge for a few minutes, and she asked if we had any questions, and we didn't. And she said, my docket's pretty free today. I'll probably let them know in 2 weeks. So, of course, every day in the past 2 weeks, I have checked the website every night at like 5 o'clock, sitting down to dinner, checking on that status. So my question is, people that have been through disability and have worked through it, have any of you been in front of a judge? And if so, is it weird that they just sent that person out?
They didn't send that person
Good
out with
sign.
me.
Okay.
They kept her there the whole time.
Okay.
I didn't even get to the point of a judge. Because apparently my doctors know how to, keep good records.
Yeah.
Because it was approved the first time. I didn't go through like an approval appeal.
I think if I
or
did a better job at filling out the form the first time, that they would not have any problem with it. Like it would not be like I'm fighting for it. Now, my father-in-law worked with Social Security, so talking to him, he said, "I've never heard of that happening," and so that, of course, is that good or is that bad? My insurance person was like, "I've never heard of that happening. That's really new." So sorry.
John, that person should be in there to look and see if there are any jobs in the economy that you could do. And I'm guessing that when the judge dismissed that person, it's because you have multiple sclerosis. The judge realizes that it's a chronic disease. You're only going to get worse. You're not going to get better. And I've not been through this, but I've been watching a lot of stuff on YouTube
Yeah.
about about disability because I just starting the process
Yeah, you are.
myself right now, and it's very overwhelming. But from what I gather, from what I've heard, it's a good sign that that person was sent out.
That, like, in my brain, I want to be like, oh, yeah, if this person was asked to go, and the doctor said, well, it is very progressive, and we can
Right.
see John's progression as it's going, like, I'm like, okay, home run, we're good.
Yep.
But
That's
until I
my
got
that's
little,
my that's my guess, not being, at all, just being at the beginning, but and
yeah,
only being educated by YouTube. So,
right. The people that I work with in disability, yes,
mhm.
how do I want to say this? Sorry, brain fog. That went way far away. Wow. Uh, yeah. So
Have the
fingers
people that
crossed.
you work with in disabilities said anything about the situation with him being sent out? No?
Not at all, not at all. But
Okay.
everyone reads it as a positive thing.
Yep.
But until I get that little grubby piece of paper,
Yep. Right.
yeah,
And usually, if the way I understand it is that the way it has worked for others is that it's like first try denied, appeal sent in, second try denied, and then it's set in front of a judge. And once it gets in front of a judge, and this is coming from my disability attorney,
okay,
that if it ever gets in front of a judge, it's it's there's not going to be a denial.
yeah. I just know that people that work in Social Security, they're
Mhm.
doing great. They're entering the information as best as I give it,
Mhm.
but they have like benchmarks that they have to check and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
So that's understandable. I did not do a good job filling it out the one that I submitted. Um, but getting in front of a judge just felt good to me. Like, hey, I wish we could have done this right after the first time I got denied. You know what I
Of
mean?
course.
Like, hey, let's just do this. But we're waiting to see. But fingers crossed, eyes crossed, toes crossed. Um,
So, how long have you been dealing with this now, John?
since 2000.
Oh wow.
No, I'm sorry.
24 years?
Oh no, shit. I meant to say 2020.
2020?
I'm
Yeah,
so
okay.
sorry. No. Actually, I started in 1998. So I know that I've heard of back pay, but I don't
Right.
want to. I don't want to bank on that. Like I again until I have the check in my grubby little hands.
No,
I'm
and
with you.
and it's, I
You
I
won't
I
get a check.
understand that.
They do it
You'll get
electronically.
direct deposit.
Sure. I know. But like doing the math at the minimum is like overwhelming. You're like, man, we can put hardwood floors in the rest of the house, so I have no carpet. Just little things like that. Or I
No, yeah.
or I can buy a telescope. You always say like, oh, if I won the lottery, blah 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 blah. But man,
It does take a lot of like that heaviness off your shoulders to know that
Oh,
you can bring in, a little bit of an income, and that it just takes off a lot of stress when you get,
yeah.
when
Like
you
we can start
get to see the
saving money
gifts. Yeah.
for like,
I've noticed Rick had his hand up for a little while.
oh, gosh, he does.
Yeah,
Sorry, Rick.
that's okay. I was just going to say that, first of all, when you talk about 2000, it was a long time, ago that I went before the judge, the SSDI judge. It was in 2009, I think. So not quite 2000, but a long time ago. Now, I honestly don't remember if there was a an occupational therapist type person there. I don't think there was. I seem to think that um, it was just myself and the lawyer, the attorney that I hired. I will say I would not be at all dismayed that you haven't heard from them. I think it took 2 to 4 weeks at least.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so, and I would also agree with everybody else that dismissing the occupational therapist was definitely positive because she didn't need to establish if you could or couldn't work. So I would be encouraged by that, but I would not be discouraged at this point in time that you haven't heard from them yet. It
oh my God.
takes a while.
Yeah, it's the U.S. government. It takes a while. So I mean, like I waited so long for the trial and everything that now that the trial, the hearing is done, I'm like, okay, I'm done waiting. Just tell me. Like, so do you tell us today or you know? But yeah, Rick, you are absolutely right. Absolutely right. Um, I mean, I waited
Keep in
months.
mind too, John, that the Social Security has been sadly underfunded and
Yeah,
they are understaffed in a
yeah,
very big way, where they're supposed to have things finalized in like 30 to 60 days. It's
sure.
taking them 200 and something days.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm not kidding. I'm willing to wait, whatever. Like just maybe give me like a little wink in an email, just like
A little bit of a niblet.
just a little bit like yeah, approved. Just
Yeah.
just like a little something, but that's really what I just wanted to talk about. Like, does it seem funky to anyone that they did not need the occupational person? And everyone's like, yeah, that's kind of weird, but it also makes sense in your case. So thank you for affirming what I'm thinking, what I'm hoping.
Yeah, because whatever that person says is what
Yeah,
they'll use to argue you are not disabled because you have these job opportunities in your area that
right.
you can do. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's just the waiting game now. But thankfully, you have the hearing's done. You don't have to worry about
yeah,
that anymore.
yeah.
Now
The,
it's just waiting for the big fat envelope to show up in your mailbox.
I don't
uh,
even think that there is any appeals past the hearing.
There
So
is, there is,
there
there
is.
is. Oh,
Yeah,
there
I,
is.
I,
Yeah, my
I
my lawyer talked to me about that. He said if I wasn't so what they did with me is they approved me, but they moved my disability date forward, so I didn't get as much back pay. So he's like, first of all, if you want to appeal to it, I will not be your lawyer, and second of all, if you do it, they can take back what they approved. They might then go, oh, we don't approve you now. So I'm like, you know what? Back pay is not that important. Let's just move forward. So
that's honestly that's how I feel too. Like
yeah.
back pay, whatever, would be fun to have some money, blah blah blah. But man, just getting access to some programs. Like if I'm declared disabled, I can go for some respite care, not a problem for like 3 days.
Wow.
And think about how amazing that would be. Doing PT and OT 3 times a day and playing puzzles with old people. Come on now.
well, would Melissa qualify for respite?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But it would be if she was out I would need someone to stay with me. But that's all in the future. I just noticed that the sun has come out for the first time in like a week and a half. Nice. Nothing to get distracted by, but Marlo, you could probably remember, like, it's been cloudy and gloomy here. I think Jennifer knows too. Like, it's been cloudy and gloomy. Not
Well,
great.
okay.
Not great for my vitamin D.
And also, John, I want you to just be prepared. I'm sure you'll keep on the teacher's insurance,
Yeah.
but you will be required 2 years from approval to sign up for Medicare.
Yes, and the way that the judge said it,
Hmm.
and the way that my insurance lady said it was, you can pick either way. Teacher insurance can be your primary, and
Right.
Medicare would be supplementary. And the lady said, or you could do it the other way. I don't know right now what that would actually mean, but you can keep your wife's insurance and then Medicare around it somehow.
Yeah, and the thing is that you really have no choice when it comes to Medicare after two
Yeah,
years being on
yeah, yeah,
disability.
yeah,
Um, but it would be like, just because I worked in the insurance game for quite some time. Um, so basically, what it is that your primary, so Melissa's teacher
yeah,
insurance, um, is gonna go first, and then I'm sorry, it's gonna Medicare. Medicare goes first. That's gonna be your primary,
It
and
depends
then
on how many employees there are. If it's greater than 100 employees, the private insurance is primary. If they have less than 100 employees, the Medicare is primary.
it is a university,
Yeah, so
so
Medicare would
it's
be
like,
secondary.
yeah, there's a lot of people that work there.
But I have learned last month, if you're paying Cobra, that is now not considered a Medicare bump to primary. So I learned that the hard way last month. So I'm sorry. Continue,
Oh,
Christy.
oh gosh. So yeah, the judge was great with kind of filling some stuff in like that. And I just, okay. So like I said last time, I looked her up online. She works in the Mount Pleasant, Michigan courthouse. I'm sure I've probably run into this person somehow, somewhere, working downtown in the same area. But I didn't. But she has a 71% approval rate, which feels really good to think about because she's the highest percentage in um, the county, like Isabella County. So that feels really good as well. Sympathetic judge. Here's all the things.
well, like I said, if she dismissed um the OT,
Yeah,
then you know I feel like there's gonna be a good approval
yeah,
for you as well. So just hang in there. You've waited
yeah.
4 years thus far. What's another month?
I got nothing going on.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm doing laundry. I'm doing art projects. I'm playing a lot of video games. I've got stuff to do, but I've got nothing to do.
Right.
What
Um,
a nice Christmas gift, though, if you could find out next month. Nice way to start the new year.
all my nephews are getting $100 for Christmas. Like here's just cash. I know you're 7, but here's cash. Buy
Well,
something.
okay.
Yeah,
One thing I learned the hard way, when I guess not really the hard way, but I learned after I got approval, is that they take the first 5 months of back pay
okay,
off.
sure.
So, if if you're looking at your Social Security income, um, and you're trying to figure out how much you would get after approval, remember to take 5 months off.
Yes, that's not a problem. I know,
No, I
like,
know.
I haven't heard that, but
Well,
okay,
I know
whatever,
the
government.
I know when I got my back pay, they can take up to $6,000 of the people, like your lawyer can take up to, it was up to a certain percentage of back pay of yours, up to $6,000 was the max cutoff. And after that, they could, and they only can take back pay. They can't take forward pay the lawyers if you had a lawyer.
What lawyer? We didn't need a
Like your
lawyer. We
Oh,
didn't take a lawyer. We
that's
went
awesome.
in.
So
Yeah,
you shouldn't have any,
yeah,
unless there were any fees to cover. If you had a lawyer, like my lawyer had I had to pay a couple
yeah,
$100 for them to
yeah.
get some records for me, and that's all I had to pay my lawyer. So you shouldn't have anything cut out of your back pay then.
No, we definitely had all the forms sent in. Basically, the doctor read what Melissa did aloud. And we look back, we're like, man, have we put 100 hours into this? Yeah. 200 hours? 500 hours? Like, yeah, we probably put 500 to 700 hours into this.
And those are hard forms to fill out because to me, when I was filling them out, essentially I was having to tell them how much I sucked, like
Yeah,
how much I was struggling, and then like not like because I always like to try to glaze over like what I'm struggling with, and then like no, you have to like spit out
yeah,
and it's just makes you feel terror like it would just terror. It was just like I would try to read the forms and try to fill them out, and then I would just mentally shut down because it was so hard to be like, yes, I struggle with, like, to admit, yes, I struggle with
yes.
this and I have all this problem.
I
Louise,
I felt like that when I was getting fitted for my power chair. When they were like, nope, you got to think 5 years in the future. You got to think 5 years in the future. But I didn't think, like, okay, in 5 years in the future, I won't need this chair because I'm going to get better or whatever, like stronger. So that sucks.
what were you gonna say, Rick?
It was on a different subject. So when you are ready to move on to the next person, please slip me in between.
I think we're pretty good, unless
Yeah.
anyone else had any more comments on the disability.
Thank you, everyone, for doing that. It sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, and I think you're gonna have good news hopefully in a month or so. Yeah, go ahead,
Yes.
Rick. Go ahead.
So this should have gone on at the very beginning, and I forgot. But we ask everybody who is here and who listens to the recording, please can you fill out our AnCan survey? If you haven't done so already, it is quick, it is short, it takes about 7 minutes, and it's really important to us. If we can get enough MS respondents, we would love to do a poster that we can submit to an MS conference. We will be submitting to other medical conferences with the overall results. And of course, the other thing that's really important is the feedback that we get from you so that we can adapt what we're doing to to best suit your needs. So really ask you if you could, and I've put the link in the chat window now. I've pinned it so it'll be there. If you just click on that, it'll open in a browser and you can fill it out later. The other thing the other AnCan news I wanted to pass, well, two pieces of AnCan news. The first is that, yes, we're definitely starting the under 45 group, I believe, in January. We figured out a way to do it, although we're still short of moderators. And hopefully we'll get a good attendance because NMSS is supporting us with this, so they're going to publicize it. And if you know anybody who might be interested, please tell them it was specifically for younger peeps. We make exceptions on that 45. It's a plus or minus 45. Miss Stroh, just want to tell you. So
I'm not under 45 anymore.
we know that, but it is a plus or minus. We get 63-year-olds coming into our under 65 prostate cancer, advanced prostate cancer group. So we don't card you when you come in. Don't worry, and we hope to see you. The other thing I would like to mention to you is that we are starting, as you know, we have an art class. You all know about the art class. And we are going to be starting a writing class I think, in January. So spread the word. It's going to be for everybody and anybody who uses their writing for their mental health. And if you journal, if you do whatever you do, we would love to see you in the writing class. Watch this space. Alexa's working on it. We have somebody who's already volunteered to lead the group. She's published poetry and goodness knows what. And this is actually a response to a request that came out of the Women Speaking Freely group. And they wanted a writing class, but it's not women only. It's going to be a mixed group, but came from the Women Speaking Freely group, and I am so pleased. I'm really happy they came and they asked us would we do it, because we're so delighted to do it. So
Are you going to send out an email to everybody, Rick, about these classes so we're aware when they're starting? 'Cause, I mean, that writing class sounds amazing. I'm excited about it.
It will be in the reminder. And first of all, it will definitely be in the reminder. So, and secondly, I expect that Alexa will probably email all the groups, do a blast email when we do it as well, separate to the reminders. But it will definitely be in the reminder. But we don't know what it's called. Maybe we should call it writing freely. What do you think? I don't know.
Or writing for mental health or something? I don't know. Some people have, because when you say writing class, does it mean like, okay, we're writing novels, or does it mean like we're writing for, and writing a novel could be mental health too? I don't know. It depends. Ask your moderator. She sounds amazing.
Yes. So we'll have to, I don't know. I don't know what's on her mind. I suspect it's writing for anybody who writes, whether they journal or whether they write short stories, novels, poetry, whatever they write. If they just write on the back of stick-em notes, and I don't know, but we're.
But Rick, how will it be structured? Will it be like,
Don't
gonna
know.
write about a certain theme and
Don't know. I don't know, Andrea.
It depends on how she decides to run the class. I would encourage anybody who feels self-conscious about writing, don't think they can write well, I would encourage you to go, because I think that'll help. And anything that helps your mental health, I am all 100% on board.
Yeah.
All the time. What did you want to say, John?
So my wife is a professor at Fair State University, and it's the home of the Museum of Sexist Objects. And so they did a program just like this where people would come in and write like any experience with it, not just like whatever's in the museum, but other stuff. And it got such a great response. And the responses that were nothing about the museum, but just about like a way that they feel about something. So it turned out very, very well. Andrea, I know what you mean by, hey, are we going to be given a topic? Like, here's your topic. Right? What's bad about MS? Right? Where I think what I would be looking for, and I think that whoever's putting this together I hope that's like, no matter what you're writing, like what Rick said, like I blog. I blog at the meeting, and Kim is learning calligraphy. How's that sound, Rick? Is that kind of, will that just kind of be
Here's what I would suggest. If you have suggestions as to what you'd like to see in there, send them to Alexa at AnCan.org.
Okay.
And she'll be working with Regina, and we'll pass it along. and come to the first meeting and contribute what you feel. And it's a work in progress, but I think it's needed. I think it's part of what we're doing with all of our mental health programming, and I'm really, really happy and proud that we're moving this way. So that's
And
that. That's all.
and honestly, when you're talking about this, Rick, my first thing that came to mind was like, "Fuck yeah, that's awesome! This is exactly what we need. This is exactly what we need. That's different, but fuck yeah, I'm excited for it."
And I think that's what's been really great about AnCan is there's different ways of helping to deal with mental health. It's just not talking in a group, which is great, but we have the art component, what Hannah does, and now we're gonna have this new writing component, and I just love that.
And they even have I don't know what you call them, Rick, but they're like spotlight webinars that I really like too. Like you did one with Hannah and just talk to her more
Oh
than
yeah,
having her run
yeah,
an art class.
yeah. Solo Arts Heal. We've
That's
got
it. Yeah.
one coming up with a guy who weaves, and
Mhm.
he teaches weaving at one of the big New York hospitals. And he came into one of our groups about a month ago and mentioned he weaved, and I heard and jumped right on that. So he's gonna do a weaving class, and Hannah is going to interview him. So
Fantastic.
that should be really awesome for and of course we'll keep you all posted. So
Yeah.
you
I love these types of programs that you show. They're fantastic.
thank you. Well, make sure you filled out the survey and you put it in there because that's how we know. Thank you, guys. I'll shut up. Bye.
And the other good question too, while you're talking about all these different programs, if there's a webinar that you want to have or a topic you want us to explore and try to figure out, let us know. We haven't had an MS webinar for a couple years. Yes, Louise.
Well, I'm just wondering, one of the things that I've been wanting to talk about is aging with MS.
Hmm.
And I know that it's difficult and impossible to create a group around aging with MS. But I've been trying to figure out, like, just to get some kind of a discussion, because I look online and I'm just not, maybe there's some information out there, but I'm just not finding it. And, I'm dealing with aging and then I'm dealing with
Right.
MS. And then at some point, the two blend together and it gets really confusing. Uh,
So
It's
we
interesting.
hear you. Just one sec. We really hear you,
yeah,
and we know you want this. Here's the issue for us. Um, we
yeah, I
have to
know.
preserve our credibility with National Multiple Sclerosis Society. And so we've got to get the under 45s group up, and it's taken a lot longer than we thought. Once we have that group up and running and we have the credibility, we are going to ask them, can we do one for older people? We're definitely going to do it. It's
Yeah,
just that we can't be asking them now when we haven't performed on the younger group yet.
yeah, and I think, Rick, that's really not what I'm asking, because we've had that discussion before, and I just really, really understand where you're coming from, and I understand that it's not easy to do, but like I think I might be the oldest one here. I'm proud to say that I'm going to be 74 next month. So, but we're all aging. Like you might be, I don't know, 10, 20 years younger than me, and I'm not really asking for a group because I know it's impossible, but I'm trying to find a place to have a discussion about it. Maybe
I
that's all.
I was at a teleconference yesterday with the MS Foundation, Louise, and they
Yes.
opened it up to suggestions for programs, like program topics. And that's exactly what I wrote is they need to have a teleconference about aging and MS.
That's
And
good.
I often speak with people from the MS Foundation. I will throw it out because Dan was on the conference call last night, and I can ask the woman who organized it if she knows anything about it. And Louise, if I find out anything, I will certainly send you some information. But I think that's a topic that they need to do a conference call or a program about it.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
Jennifer, we'd be happy to work with them with MSF instead of an MSS to do the aging one, and we could start with them right away. It's just we can't go back to an MSS right now. But here, the reason we can't do it without one of them is because we don't have enough outreach.
Yeah.
And if we start it, we've got to be able to publicize it, and we can't get it to enough people. So we've got to do it with one of the big societies, or one of the big nonprofits, so that we can spread the word. But yeah, I mean, tell MSF
Well, if I'm understanding Louise properly, she wants to know more about aging and
okay.
And
about the
I think what I'm also looking for is a discussion, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a discussion with, older people, just because you're all aging,
professionals, neurologists, or
No,
physical therapists, anything like that? Or are you looking for more from the community?
it's more from the community, really.
Okay.
Like my experience is when I turned 50, the it was like the 50 was the new 40, and
Yeah.
then 60 was the new 50. Well, 70 is 70. It
Oh,
doesn't,
no.
you know, there's no two ways about it. And things, in my experience, things really started to show up or change when I turned 70. And it's just hearing from other people, like, if you're not 50 yet, what are your concerns about
Yeah.
aging? You know what I'm saying, right? It's just,
Well, and then the course of the disease, because some people in my support group, my in person group, are in that sweet spot between like 65 and 70, where they're no longer taking disease modifying therapies.
that's right, yeah.
MS is active, but is the disease still progressing? And then you being a woman, you know that MS is wildly different for women versus men. So
Yes,
I think that's why a community, like a platform like AnCan, but something to begin with, just something to ground us. I think
that's
that would be really valuable.
just having a discussion, right?
I mean, the only one I can think of in our group that is close to your age is Karen, and she hasn't been on for a while. So I don't know if that'd be a good thing for you guys to connect up to have like your powwow of being over 70 and having MS, if that would be helpful for you all or not, or what do
I
you
think
think?
Shelley also.
What was the other one
Marla?
you said, Marlo?
Shelley also. Shelley from Michigan.
Oh, she hasn't been on for a while either, too. Yeah.
I see her on another group. I can tell her about it.
Yeah, I didn't think about her because she's been a while since she's been on.
I
But would
think
you
she
like to?
attends the Women Speaking Freely,
Okay.
uh, and I don't. Karen, I'm trying to remember. Karen explained why she didn't want to come on, but I can't remember what it was. She
Well,
she she write her and she'll tell you. But whatever it is, but she's in every art class.
well, as long as she's finding the what she needs, that's the
Yeah,
most important thing. So, what'd you
Andrea
have,
has
Andrea?
something to say.
Go ahead.
I put a couple of links in the chat for you, Louise. One is a link to an article on healthline.com all about aging with MS. And the other one is a YouTube video from, I think, the National MS Society, and it's about aging with MS. So I just did a quick, I knew I'd seen some things, uh, but I can never remember where I've seen them. I was thinking it might be MS Can Do, which is another nonprofit, Rick, out west there in Colorado. Um, that might be another good program for you to get involved, another nonprofit for you to get involved with if you want to work with other MS groups.
So in my brain fog, I'm having a hard time finding the chat line. And
So
so,
up in the upper right hand corner, there's like two call outs. There's like a little person with
oh,
I
yes,
think 9
yes, yes.
people,
Okay.
and you see the call outs, and that's where the chat is.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. Okay, I got it, but anyway, I'm not going to waste time trying to figure out how to use the chat line right now. But maybe somewhere I can leave my email address. And okay, I don't want to take more time trying to
Send
figure
your email address in. Oh, you can't get to the chat line. Never mind. I don't
out.
know. Brain fog.
Brain fog. Brain fog. Yeah. Okay.
I think brain fog
I'll
is too.
email it to you, Andrea. I'll email you Louise's. I'll put it in the chat window to you. Okay.
Okay.
Or could you maybe you could just email Louise, get the links I put in and just email her directly. Would you be willing to do that, Rick?
Okay.
Or you can put my email there, and I'm.
Okay, I can do that too. If that's okay by you,
Oh yeah, it is. I really
I'll
will.
put your email right in there in a second.
I
Okay.
welcome emails. Yeah.
Okay.
Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to talk about today?
I just want to say that brain fog is too sweet a word for what actually happens.
What would you like to call it?
Brain malignancy,
Well, I can relate
complete
to that.
shutdown. What do they call what do they call it when a nuclear reactor is about to implode?
Critical?
Detonate?
Meltdown.
Meltdown?
That's exactly what Louise is talking about. How much of that is
Right.
aging and how much of that is MS,
That's right. Yeah. Because a lot of my friends that are the same age, um, they also have brain fog. You know, they forget things. My husband is the same age as I am, and we both really we say the wrong words. Or like last session that I was in, I spelled John Cabot-Zen, and Cabot is not Cabot, because I live next to the Cabot Trail, and my brain went there, and I knew that I had made a mistake, but I just couldn't figure out where the mistake was, you know. But anyway, I don't want to take away from you, Andrea, what you were saying, but I can
I
relate to
mean,
it.
I'm 20 years younger than you, and I'm really struggling with a lot of that um a lot of that stuff happening. It's I've been um I've been filling out all the social security stuff, and I'm just ugh. So I can only work on it for a short amount of time, and I just start crying, right? And I get really overwhelmed with things. Like if I've got a 5 or 10 page um document that or form that I have to fill out by hand, first of all, my hand cramps up.
Yeah,
Second of all, that's 10 pages I have to focus on, and I get really overwhelmed with simply 10 little pages. I have to I have to take the first page, put the other 9 over there, and focus only on one page at a time. And I'm so sick of having to adapt every single thing that I do. Um, and and my inappropriate reactions to things. I got a scam call the other day, and it was somebody telling me that they were the sheriff of Dare County. I live in Dare County. And it was the sheriff of Dare County, and he's calling me because of failure to appear in court. I'm like, I don't even leave the house. I didn't have anything in court. I had no, well, it's for jury duty, and we have the document with your signature on it saying, saying that you'll be here, and the judge has now charged you with failure to appear in court, and I forget, two other counts of something. And I'm like, what? I don't know anything about this. Well, you're going to have to come down to the sheriff's office and give us your signature so that we can run a signature comparison to see if you are the one that signed this form. As if you're not the one that signed this form, we need to open an investigation to figure out who did sign this form. And I'm like, what the F is going on here? And I lost my mind. And when he told me that I needed to stop at the bank on the way to the sheriff's office, I knew it was a scam. I absolutely knew, and I even said it. This is a scam through my tears. And let me just say, when I say tears, when I say I'm crying, what I mean is like I'm sobbing like a baby. Sobbing. I can barely talk. Sobbing. Oh no, man, you need to calm down. This is not a scam. Blah, 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 blah. I hung up on him.
Good for you.
And I called, or I went online and I looked up the phone number for the Dare County Sheriff's Office. And I called the sheriff's office in tears, sobbing. And I explained to him, sort of, kind of, through my chopped speaking, what had happened. And no, ma'am, that's a scam. Do not give these people any money. Blah, blah, blah. I thanked him. I hung up. I knew this.
Yeah.
They called me back.
It's good that you called the sheriff's office. That was a good idea.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and
they called you back?
Yeah, they called me back. I told them I was on the other line with the sheriff if they want to talk to the sheriff. And they didn't bother me after that. But it took me 45 minutes to an hour to stop crying.
Wow.
well, it
And at the
goes to
end of
show.
it, like some people say that crying makes them feel better. It releases whatever. No. Takes me an hour to quit crying. I feel like shit afterwards. My head hurts. I have no energy whatsoever. I mean, I'm just shot for the rest of the day. It just, so I was, I feel like I'm always like on that edge. And then I think, well, I was trying to get off of the Cymbalta, which is supposed to keep this stuff and did keep this stuff at bay. But I didn't enjoy life at all. I didn't cry like a baby, but I didn't enjoy life. And so I guess that's my trade-off. My trade-off is that I have to feel a fool sometimes in order to feel the highs in life too.
Have you thought about switching to a different medication that might have different side effects instead? Or are you just done with it? Like, where are you at?
Well, I tried to switch to Dexta for the pseudobulbar affect, but my insurance didn't cover it. and it was going to be $1,500 out of pocket with a prescription RX whatever discount I could get, and I can't afford that.
So
And
did you,
good, it pisses me off that somebody gets rich off of me being sick.
yeah.
I was just gonna check to make sure that wasn't one of the drugs that Mark Cuban's pharmacy cost plus drugs covered.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
I am on different insurance now. I could look it up. But maybe in January I'll look into it again. But anyway, it's been a frustrating. So there's SSA, there's all this insurance stuff. There's I'm trying to sue my former employer, and I can't get a hold of anybody to help me figure out what's going on, where it is. I feel like I'm stuck in a deep hole where that's concerned. Um, so
I mean, as far as that, Andrea, it sounds like, I mean, because you're having trouble, especially to get a lawyer for the SSDI is just such a great choice, no?
and that's another thing. So the first lawyer who told me he would represent me, when he stopped responding to my emails, I had to go to the law firm's website and use their contact us page, and I emailed that way, and then he responded to me, but he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't represent you. I'm too busy. Try this guy." And this guy actually lives right down or works right down the street from me. So I went and talked to him, and he's like, "Well, you filed in New Jersey. You need a New Jersey lawyer." And so now I'm trying to find a New Jersey lawyer. Yeah, it goes
For
on and
disability? Because
no, this is for the EEOC, Equal
okay,
Employment.
okay, that's a different one. Okay, okay. I follow that
Yep.
better now. But so did you find that this lawyer to represent you for disability? Because usually those lawyers, that's all they do. They don't do a bunch of different law. They just do disability for Social Security.
No, I have not. Um, I've decided to go ahead and just do like John and try my hand in it, and if I fail, then I'll appeal with the lawyer.
Okay. Because my personal suggestion, and it's just a suggestion, my personal suggestion is to get a lawyer right off the gate, because the stress and anxiety and mental anguish it created for me to fill out the forms, it's so much easier to have that someone else walk you through it.
Well, I'm at the end of all that right now. I'm just trying to get them mailed out.
Okay, so you're finishing the preliminary forms and stuff. Okay, because you can bring a lawyer on anytime you want.
And I would imagine, I haven't done it yet, but the sooner you involve them before the initial filing, the more likely you are to get approved. I mean, they know how to fill it out exactly right.
Yeah.
I,
So now it's moved to the North Carolina Department of Disability Services. And so I'm having to hand fill out pretty much everything I filled out for SSA online. So I'm a little annoyed by that too. But I'm at the end of that. I actually put a lot more detail into this one, so that's probably good. And again, I've got 3 different envelopes, 3 different forms, and I don't remember what form goes in what envelope.
Mhm.
So I didn't think ahead. I just pulled them out and started filling out the forms. And now I don't know which return envelope goes with which form. And I've called the help desk a couple times. I called SSA and they're like, oh, those aren't our forms. Those are DDS forms. So I called DDS and she's like, well, I'm not sure. Let me send you over to your case manager who works on your case and they should be able to help you with this. And so, of course, I got voicemail and I'm still waiting for a return call.
What I would recommend, Andrea, just photocopy all the forms and send them all out to each envelope, and then you have
Oh,
your bases
good idea.
covered.
And
And
everybody
then
else,
you write a note. I'm sorry, I had 3 different places to send it to. I didn't know which one, so you're getting all of them. Please disregard the forms you don't need. That'd be the easiest way to do it. And make sure you do a wet signature on every form so it's all legit, and call it a day and be like, that's it. Sorry, I messed up. This is my MS brain fog going showing you, and call it a day. It's not worth the agony of like which envelope. Just photocopy everything. Have a wet signature and everything that needs a wet signature. Call it good. Send them all in there.
And I don't know if I'm the only one, but since we're talking about envelopes and stress, when I get anything in the mail regarding insurance, if I get anything from Medicare or Medicaid, I'm like, and I instantly think, oh, this is the worst. And it's like what I do wrong. And it's like, you've got a stinking disability. You didn't do anything wrong. But anytime I get a letter, it's like my heart. You had like a heart meter on me. And I hate that. I hate feeling guilty because I have a disability. And it's like, no, I'm not cheating the system. I just need help. So I know what you mean, Andrea, because I'm in that place. It's that time of year where you're getting paperwork and you're like, I want to make sure to dot all my T's and sorry, I always say that wrong. Cross my T's and dot my I's. I just want to make it perfect. So I get you, and that's like the one thing you don't need stress. I just don't.
Right.
Nope.
I have a question for you, Jennifer. I had my medical review was this year. How long does it take them to get back to you that you were reapproved or denied? How long does that take?
I have found it to be fairly, like, in my experience, pretty quick. But ever since the pandemic, everything seems to take longer. And then Louise, forgive us, we're going to talk about U.S. politics, and I know Rick doesn't like us to talk politics, so I'm not talking politics. Sorry, Rick, forgive us. But just because there's going to be a new administration coming in, and you keep hearing, all the headlines, oh, this person's going to cut this and do this, and I'm just like, please just leave my health insurance alone, leave Medicare and Medicaid alone. Again, that's like undue stress that those of us with chronic illness don't need to deal with.
Yeah,
Like, go butts with like other things. Just leave our stuff alone.
I found out yesterday, so my husband's new insurance kicks in next month, and so it's okay in December, but starting January 1st, I'm going to be on Aetna, and they're having a pissing match with one of the medical networks in Des Moines. So if they don't agree with Aetna, then I have to find a new local neurologist. I have to find a new PCP. All
Oh
my normal
my
people I see
goodness.
that the years I have built up creating my medical team.
And that's ridiculous.
So we'll see what happens because yesterday I was online last night and I'm like, and all my productions be like, well, you may or may not be covered starting January 1st. I'm like, well, that doesn't help me. So do I need to start looking for a doctor now because I'm gonna have refills due? I'm gonna have an infusion that I'm gonna have in March. Like what do I do? So it's really
Probably have a
frustrating.
continuation of care clause in there to keep that from happening. So make sure, no.
I don't think so. Like I'm pretty sure like my doctor's office, my neurologist, they'll get me covered. Like, well, you won't see him, but yes, he'll still order that and get you into there. And I have a good, but at the same time, I mean, it's traumatic if I have to break up with my healthcare providers. That's very traumatic when they know me really well. And then I have to start from square one with someone and going, I'm glad to see you, but I don't really want to see you because, I have this, 8+ or 12-year relationship with these people. And so, yeah. So if that happens, then I'll be like talking to my PCP, like, okay, who at this other network do you recommend as a doctor that would be good for me? Because obviously I want to see you, but I can't afford you anymore because I can't pay out of pocket. But yeah, that's just been a whole little, found that one out last night. That was incredibly stressful. And then I got a bill, not a bill yet. So I found out, I kind of talked about it, how when I was on Cobra for a couple months, how before my private was primary, but when you're on Cobra, I guess it's now secondary, and Medicare goes to primary. And I got a bill, and so all these things have been reject, because I use healthcare. I'm a super user of healthcare. That's just how I am. And I got an EOB in the mail for stuff for my surgery, my back surgery in May, and my primary insurance, who was primary in May, was saying it wasn't covered. And it's so, Louise, the statements are so vague. Like the only thing you can tell is like, what is this? Like there'll be some random doctor's name who like read your mammogram that you never met. So like, what? So you just look by the date of service to help you figure it out. Like 11, they're like, oh, not covered, $11,000. And I'm just like going, we'll see what Medicare says, or what is this? Because it's been almost 6 months, and now I have been on the phone so many calls trying to fix October, because I didn't know there was any problem with October until early November when I started getting an EOB that was denied. I'm like, what? I have 2 insurance. How is this denied? And no one sends you the nice little love letter that goes, okay, when you're on Cobra, it's going to flip and Medicare is going to be primary because that's what you're paying, even though, because your husband technically isn't employed, but gets the insurance because of Cobra. And it's like, okay. And then it gets, so
You can
yeah.
you can appeal the denial too.
Well, yeah, but I don't even know what it's for, because the one thing I think it could be, it was not 11 grand. And so I don't even know. It could be a mistake for all I know. I don't know. So I'll just let it just kind of play out. And then if I get a bill for it, then I'll be like, hey. But I had that problem when I first got the Ocrevus infusion. I think it was the same insurance I'm going back on, actually, where they would, because Ocrevus, you get the half dose, and then 2 weeks later you get the second half dose. And they would pay for my second half dose, but they wouldn't pay for my first one. And I had to fight them. I'm like, you're my only insurance. Oh, you have other insurance? No, you're my only insurance. And it took 3. And then they sent the hospital sent me a bill for back in the day it was cheaper, so it was only $63,000. But they sent me a bill for $63,000, and I'm like, I have insurance. I don't know why they're being dumb. The prior authorization was approved before, obviously was approved before I got the infusion. So yeah, so I'm just going through a little insurance headaches right now. So it's just I hope it's better in Canada in some ways, Louise.
Well, I don't know. Like I've been diagnosed for 33 years, so I don't know what it's like for people that are newly diagnosed, but what you guys have to go through, all the hoops you have to jump through,
Yeah.
it's really difficult on your symptoms. I know that if I get
Yes.
a bit of just something out of the ordinary, I just get all my symptoms kind of pop up, and it takes me a couple of days to get over it or more. But I just really am, I don't know how to describe it, but listening to what you guys have to go through, and maybe it's the same here in Canada. I don't know because I've been diagnosed for so long.
And I'm one of the lucky ones because I have insurance. I actually have 2 insurances. I'm actually very lucky in what I have. I mean, between my infusion, which would be I think it's $150,000 a piece now, so that's $300,000 there, and then another, let's just say $100,000 for my back surgery. So I spent like at least just on those two things, two infusions and back surgery, $450,000.
And
Wow.
an annual MRI.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's not including all the other doctor's appointments, X-ray, nothing, reach, nothing. That's just two things. $450,000. It's kind of hard to like wrap my brain around that.
So broken. Louise. We are the richest country on the globe. We are so horrible to our people unless you have the money. That's it. We are 100% money driven. And the fact that people get rich on sick people, it really just makes me sick.
Yeah, I'm going to
That's
throw out something
Go
good
ahead,
here.
Marla.
When I first got on this group years ago, Jennifer talked about everybody should consider being an advocate as much as they can. And I've done that over time. And it's like if you're just a level 3 in knowledge, you can still help a level 1 and you can help a level 2. Well, along the path, I mean, I've known people at group that say they got denied for Botox. So we researched it online, and Botox will pay for your Botox as long as your doctor is willing to administer it. There's so many things we can help other people with. I don't know if it's the Ocrevus, but I think even the Ocrevus, if you can show them that you were denied or you lost insurance, there's ways to get that.
Yeah, they have a patient assistance program, and then if you're on Medicare, then there's a special program they put you in because you're not legally, once you have government insurance like Medicaid, Medicare, you're not available to the patient assistance program, so you're in a different pool where they just have to give you the drugs straight up for free versus a discount.
But there's so many ways to do.
Yeah, there's ways to navigate it, but it takes a lot of time and brain efforts and patience.
I
But
just don't have. I have plenty of time. I have no brain effort.
But part of it is just having that second person there, like just a person like us sometimes, just to keep you focused and walk through it together. It just works. Like I've helped other people now on things that I would be intimidated to do myself, but it helps you focus and brainstorm.
Yeah, I think I definitely need to start working in. Maybe I need to talk to Jennifer about working more on advocacy in my state and things like that, because it's getting to like just seeing how much out of pocket I have to pay every year, and it's just like, how is that even affordable when I don't really have a job because I can't work because I'm disabled because I have brain fog and fatigue issues. I do a better job managing it now, but I still couldn't, like I was just trying to explain to someone, like if I did a Walmart greeter, I would do great the first day, and the second day I'd start crapping, and by third day I'd be like in bed, and how,
Yeah.
how hard that is to admit that. Like that would be, I would struggle with that even if I sat down. That would be, there were points in my life where I couldn't sit up. I had to just lay down. I don't remember. Do you remember, Jennifer? When I joined this group back in the day. It was before 2020. I know that.
Yeah. I would say probably right around 99, well, no, not, yeah,
2019.
yeah, 2019. See, I did a John. I went way back.
Yeah, you went way back.
Way back, yeah.
When did you guys start up this group, Jennifer?
I would say it's been about 5 years. So
was it 2019? Okay.
I
So
would think like 2018, 2019.
So I joined kind of in the beginning, maybe.
Yeah, I remember there were so many meetings, and this is not a dig on Kim or anything, but there were meetings where she was like vertical. She was laying down the entire meeting, and it's so refreshing to see you sitting up. And
absolutely. Yeah, I would be like dead, and I just see like laying on my pillow, And I have no problem. Anyone needs to lay down during these meetings, and sometimes I still have to lay down. But yeah, I got much better at managing my MS. But yeah, I'm in 2019, and I was at 5.5 months. I was essentially bedbound,
Yeah.
and I could do very little. I couldn't, if food had to be ready to eat or microwave, just boiling water was too much. It was too much. I just couldn't do it.
What do
And
you attribute that change to?
gosh, that is a great question, Jennifer. That'll probably be a 25-minute answer. I think a bunch of it is what I've learned, and I tell people that are new. It took me a long time. If you listen to your body and follow your intuition, that'll really help you monitor your energy levels. Because I was really good about, because when you go to school and everything, it gets pushed out of you and you learn just to push through things, and I don't have the energy reserves for that. So that was a huge factor. I think Ocrevus has worked really well for me. I started Did I start Ocrevus January of 2019? I think so. Yeah. I think that's helped out a lot, and I just learned to let go of what Kim was pre-MS, because every time you try to use that as a marker of how well you're doing, you will make yourself feel terrible and awful, and you will fail every time. And just look at what I can do today and focus on that, and just the being very gratitude, getting on disability was really helpful. And just seeing how I can make a difference and make the world a better place without working 40 plus hours a week. And having a great community, and there's a lot of things, but I'm always, it's always a work in progress, Jennifer. Always a work in progress. I screw up every day so much, but a couple of things I do get right. A couple of things I do get right here and there. But
Can I say something to that? Is even when you have bad days, that should be okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
You
absolutely.
know, it's just there's a temptation for me to beat myself up, especially when I say the wrong words, say the wrong things, and it's just, I don't know. For me, it's just trying to make it. It's okay. It's okay. I said something really stupid, and it's okay. So I need to forget others when they say something stupid.
I think that what you're saying, Louise, which I really agree with for myself, you have to forgive yourself constantly for
Yeah.
all that, because we're the hardest on ourselves.
Yes.
And that's what I've really learned, just to forgive myself, and I'm doing the best I can. I am like I had a conversation with my husband a while back ago. Like, you get the outside world can be very harsh to you
Yeah.
and make you feel like you're lazy or a slacker and a bum. And he's like, oh God, no, you were before, I worked really, really, I was a workaholic, guys, before. I worked really, really hard. And I got a huge, a part of my self-worth and self-esteem was through work. And so when you took that away, oh, where's my self-worth and self-esteem? So I had to really work on that. That is not who I am. So a lot of self-work, internal work, and then making my mental health a huge priority. That's
Yeah.
not something that you just, oh, I'll just deal with it. Like, you deal with it. So, but yeah, it's a work in progress. I think I've grown a lot in a lot of ways that I couldn't have done if I was working hardcore in a career. And I don't know. It's been a interesting ride. But my two biggest fears in high school was not being financially independent and losing my mind. So you have to find comfort or get comfortable with that idea, because every day I struggle with that. People are like, "Oh, I'm saving all this money for this, this, and that." I'm like, all the money you're saving, I'm just spending towards my bills, my medical bills. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can you save? Because the downside of disability is you just can't, like, it's not designed for you to be helped to build up wealth in any way that you can, retire and feel comfortable in any way. You're just like, no, we're just holding out to of prayer and hope and optimism, and and just understand that it'll get taken care of somehow, some way. But it makes it tough. But you're always kind of on that edge of unease, and you have to find a way to be comfortable with it and not let it cripple. What's the word I'm looking for? Uh, um, prevent you from being your full self, or living your life, and being crippled by like anxiety and fear and things like that. Does that make sense? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
rambling
that
here.
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to learn to live your life fully. And like, as I tell people, you know I don't know if next year I might not be able to walk. I don't know. I don't But that might be anybody, if you have a car accident or something. So I want to enjoy things. I remember my grandparents were like, oh, I was going to do all this traveling, and when you get older and stuff. And when they got older, they got too ill of health and they couldn't travel, and they're like, I'm going to wait. And I'm like, my life now, like, no. If I have an opportunity, I am doing it, because I don't know what it's going to be like next year. And you still, you can still, but it just, you can still travel and do things, but it is more difficult, and it takes way more steps and more planning, but you can do it. And so, you know that's how I live my life now, and it's worked out really well. But do I make the best financial decisions at times? No, because if I have a chance to go to Paris, I'm freaking going to Paris, and I'm going to enjoy it. So I can remember, oh, remember when I went to Paris? That was really great. That was a lot of fun.
And the
Versus,
other thing
I
also is that, oh, I'm sorry, Andrea,
No, you're
yeah,
fine.
that energy shifts, like it's even in one day, like in the morning, I can have it really together, and then
Mhm.
something happens, the energy shifts, and it's so much work. Everything is so much work, like to accept that the energy has shifted, and uh, that's what I'm working on with
What's
aging, with aging.
Yeah. The thing what helps me out, Louise, is that I've learned that life is very hard in general, even without MS. Life is just hard.
Yes,
And what
it
I
is.
have learned is dealing with your emotions are all over the spectrum and things. And I have just learned the best way is I allow myself to whatever emotions I'm feeling, I allow myself to process those feelings. And then the most important thing, that I let them go. Because if I hang on to it, I can't keep moving forward. I'll be stuck in the past. So that that took a lot of learning for me, and I'm still don't make me think I'm a professional here. Like, I am still learning how to do everything. But that was a huge key for me, was like, why is this really bothering me, or what's my problem? And then delving into it, allow myself to feel it, and then release it, so then I don't have to deal with it anymore. Because
I think I interrupted Andrea. You were about to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say along the same lines of what Kim was saying, you've got to just live your life and just do new things. And so I signed up for a pottery class at the local uh, continuing education at the College of the Albemarle. I've been struggling with my hands lately, and so I'm hoping that maybe working with pottery, one, will be fun. I have never done it before. So thank you, Hannah, for helping me open my mind to art and trying new things and not necessarily being great, but who cares? Being good enough at it. Um, and just something to get me out of the house, something, something to do. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about
I
that.
think that's a really good point you were saying, Andrea. Like it is enough. Like, I had to let go of my perfectionism and going,
Hmm.
and I get a task done, and it may not be like 100%, it may be 50, but it got done, and that's all that
Right.
matters. And you just have to
Yep.
let go. A lot of MS for me was let go, let go, let go. Let go of perfectionism, let go of, I don't want to say self-loathing or self-hatred, but like, I had to let go of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still like John, sense of humor is my coping mechanism. I'll be like,
Yep.
why are you so laughing? I'm like, because that's the only way I cope. I gotta laugh about something. So
Because I cry too much, let me tell you. That's why.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with the crying too. Like let yourself
Yeah.
feel it, and then I know you say you don't feel better, but and maybe you want to work with finding another medication that helps you with the pseudobulbar effect. I did not personally, I did not like Cymbalta when I was on it. I did not like the side effects. So I don't know if there's something else or they can do something completely different, or if you can find a way to get that drug. Is it generic now, that pseudobulbar drug?
The new Dexa, I doubt it. I think it was newly, I'm not sure, but I think it was newly out when I was
See, and
originally looking.
this is what pisses me off. Okay, so looking at Nudexa is two drugs. It's dextromethorphan, which is like Delsum, the
Cough
cough syrup,
medicine.
and then quinidine, which is like quinine. Like so they're cheap. So I don't.
Yep.
Can you get it like compounded or something in like a slightly different dose that would be cheaper or something? I don't know.
It's
It's just
ridiculous. I'm getting so bitter and so angry.
I know you are. I know you're very frustrated, and it is a very frustrating system to navigate, and and
And I'm
maybe
sick, and that's, it's hard
Mhm.
for me to navigate because I'm sick. And they make it as hard as possible.
Well,
But
I don't.
yeah,
Yeah, and the thing is, that's frustrating too. Is like the people that are in the system, like your doctors, your providers, they're just as frustrated as you because they're not
right,
being able to do things that they need to do to treat you adequately, and so everyone's
right.
just frustrated, and that just makes it
Yep,
tough for everybody. But I
yep.
don't know. I don't know how to fix it, but it definitely COVID felt like it really did accelerate the uh, problems with healthcare, with the issues that we do have. So, is anything anyone else wanted to talk about today? Sorry, this afternoon. I will just say out our next meeting is in 2 weeks. I wrote January 10th. That is not right. December 10th. I'm like, it is not January 10th in 2 weeks. December 10th. There we go. At 7:30 p.m. Central Time, so 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah.
And I just
Can't believe
coped
it's
with the
almost
candy
December.
bar. So that is it's terrible, but my coping mechanism is a little bit of chocolate.
I like that coping
And since
mechanism.
my father has passed away, I have put on so much sympathy, chocolate, weight, but I'm just like, yeah, we'll deal with that later. And so coping with chocolate, the little things. And I went to see Wicked this weekend. If
Okay.
you like musicals, oh my goodness,
I've
go.
heard it's
It's
amazing. So did you see the
amazing.
musical or the movie? Because I heard it came
I
out.
I've seen the musical, but we saw the movie this weekend. It's
Mhm.
2.5 hours and it flies by if you like musicals. It's really good. Ariana Grande is adorable and the sets are incredible. The CGI. It's my non-AnCan talk, but I think we need to not talk about MS every once in a while. So go
Yeah,
see a good
yeah.
movie.
The weird thing that I've done in my life, I signed up, and I won't tell you how I ended up on this because it's a long story, but I restarted taking dance classes. I am taking tap classes now. I'm
Oh,
taking adult
yay.
tap, which
Yeah.
I don't ever allow myself to go, oh, you're having problems because you have MS and you have issues. No, I don't let myself. I'm like, that is not an excuse. If you're having problems, you'll figure another way to do it. And I will be in the recital May 1st. I will have not had a dance recital in 27 years. And I am I am in that recital and I am super excited. But there were like I was having issues with my shoulder, like, well, you can have shoulder surgery now. I'm like, no, no surgery. I gotta be able to practice and be ready for the dance recital May 1st. So that has
The show
been
must go on.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that has been an incredible experience for me because the things I'm doing, like in high school, easy peasy muscle memory, no problem. And now I'm like, why is this so tough? And I need to practice this. And just allowing myself to practice and repetition to bring the muscle memory back, so then it's easier. You don't have to think, because when you start a new tap step or routine, woo! I use a lot of brain power there, guys, but they're beautiful because they let you record the routine at the end of the class. So then I have it to practice at home, which is great. So it feels so, and I feel like I need to reach out to Elizabeth because she loved to tap dance. I think I need to send her a message on Facebook or something. But if you had told me, like, okay, you're going through MS and you've had it for like diagnosed for like 11 or 12 years, and then you're just like, you're gonna start tap dancing again. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Good
And
for you. Good for you.
here I
Yeah.
am, and I just told her,
That's
look,
so awesome,
yeah,
Kim.
I'm like, I might be at a point where I have to sit down during class, or I have to hold the bar because it's at 7:45 at night, which for me that's really late, like, whoa. And like I might have to hold the bar because I'm too tired. No, I just go in there and my endorphins, I'm having a great time. And when I first went to the first dance class, I danced way better than I thought. Like they doing this routine, like, and I could figure out what they were doing, so I jumped right in. I was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of like riding a bike. Now my tap dancing is very, what I call, dirty. It's not very clean, but I can, fake it. But yeah, I was not anticipating that in my life. But it seems like, yeah, my intuition is like, you're supposed to do this. And so, all right. So now I have a dance floor I made out in my garage with pool noodles and plywood. And
So cool.
yeah, it is cool. But I just wasn't, yeah, you told me 5 months ago, you're after back surgery, because it wouldn't have worked before back surgery because I would have been in too much pain. Someone told me, oh, you're going to start tapping after you recover from your back surgery. What are you talking about? But yeah, it's been phenomenal to revisit that and figure out how mentally and physically how good it is for me. It's just,
Yep.
yeah, I don't think we're going to have a tap class in AnCan. We'll see, but
Maybe you can give us a demonstration sometime.
yeah, or we'll have a dance class. Well, I'll be like, all right, crazy people, just follow me, just wiggle and have fun. That's all. That's the prereq. Just move and have fun. This is non-judgy. However you look, we don't care. You don't have to do the breaking the dancing worm on the floor or anything like that. But
It's a
gotta
good
have
idea.
you gotta have fun. You gotta keep it fun and interesting, and
That's
feel
right.
like you're growing and doing stuff. Not because sometimes you can feel like you're just, what's the word I'm looking for?
Stuck.
Stagnant. Yeah, you
Yep.
feel really stagnant. And I think with MS, it's because I've gotten way more social lately, and doing all these different activities with people. And I'm just like, wow, I'm being really social. But I'm like, yeah, but MS can be such an isolating disease because it's hard to get out of the house. You have energy issues. You have, issues with your brain. It's hard to interact with people. And it's just like, yeah, this is probably really good for you. And as long as everyone stays healthy and doesn't get sick, because it's that time of year, things go around, everyone gets sick. So,
Yeah.
anything else anyone wants to talk about before I?
Yeah, I do very, very
Yeah,
quickly. I just want to say how much I appreciate, in a sick kind of way, I really appreciate you talking about your aches and pains and brain fog. And it's just, there's nowhere else where we can get that conversation. And so I can relate to what you're saying. And it's refreshing to feel like I'm being heard. And the evening groups for me, they start at 9:30. So if I don't show up, it's because I'm just way too tired. But I
I
just want you to
understand.
know that I'm very committed and interested. So
They're
I,
hard for me too, and I lead them, which makes it fun. Jennifer remembers this. I used to always say when I started leading the groups, I'm like, why is the person that has the cognition issues running this meeting? Because I'm already like checked out for the night. But here we are. But I think it helps people understand. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's a great environment where people can feel safe and non-judgmental. And if you say something crazy to us, like some experience, we're not gonna look at you like, oh, she's crazy. It's like, oh yeah, that's MS. That sounds about right.
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Marla, it was great seeing you. What have you been up to? I know you've been busy with a local meetup group.
Um, yeah, not a lot. Just I've been watching you guys on YouTube, and I saw you. I wasn't aware of this 1:30 for a while,
Oh
and,
yeah, we switched that in April.
and I saw you guys say, "Hey, we need some people on it," and I'm available for 1:30 because I sleep from 8 to 2, 8 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Hmm.
And the other group starts at 8:30 for me. So
Hmm.
it was killing me. I was going, but it was just getting to be too much.
Oh
And
great.
then when you did
So
this
we'll see you
1:30,
for the afternoon crew. You'll be
yeah.
there.
So I was watching it, and then Rick said we need people to show up for it and not just watch it. So here I am.
Good.
Well,
Excellent.
I'm glad that you figured out the new time and that it works for your schedule. Yeah, we're hoping that.
But it turns out you got to read the words, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we did send out emails, but sometimes that doesn't. But yeah, we were hoping that having an earlier group would help with people like myself, where that's a late night, and I'm not even in Eastern time zone like you guys, or the extra time zone with like Louise, 2 hours behind. Like it is rough to do the night, but I like doing it because then people who are working or just life is crazy, they have a chance to come on. But I was hoping that some people come to this one because it's like, oh, it's not in the evening where I'm toast. You want me to come on when I'm
when
turned,
you
like
said
as
that,
Jennifer says, I turned into a pumpkin. That I'm turned into a pumpkin and I'm like, I'm done. My brain is shut off. So yeah. So yeah, hopefully I'm looking forward to seeing you more, at least once a month in the afternoons, Marlo. I'm like looking forward to it. So I'm glad to see you. It's been a while since we've seen you. Has it been almost a year?
Yeah, it's been
It's
11
been,
months.
yeah, it's been like
wow,
December last year.
wow.
Some people I do a good job remembering when they've come last, and then other people like it just is all a blurry. Like you said, Sherry. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, Sherry. I thought she was gonna be gone for a while because she was gonna have lots of dental work done, and
Yeah, she's
then
pretty good.
she got it done.
I'm not sure if she got dental work done, but her spirits just seem better. You know,
Oh,
Oh,
I
good.
see her on
fantastic to
Friday night.
hear.
Like I pretty much see her every Friday night, and
Oh,
she's doing pretty good.
well, tell her I
Good.
said hello and let
Okay,
her
Tell
know
her we
about the
all
new
said
time.
hello.
Yeah,
I'll
tell
let her
her we miss her and hope she's doing well and love to see her if she,
30.
yeah, if it makes, I'm gonna go ahead and shut off this recording. We don't need to keep talking.